For a 200 amp service with the first disconnect on the main CB panel, what copper wire size and ground/neutral wire size do I need between the meter box and main CB panel? Can the ground/neutral be bare? What minimum conduit size would I need? The CB panel and meter box are back-to-back, so I'd have to use 2 PDC pounds back-to-back as well. THX.
I'll do all I can to help. How long have you been dealing with this?
It's an upgrade I'm planning. There is currently an 60 amp fused main connection with 8 fused distribution lines. I want to get rid of that plus the meter panel. The main mast is 2 inches pipe, so that is worth keeping. Probably replace the mast head as well.
How long has this been going on? And how severe is the problem?
It's not a problem per se.
Do you plan on doing the work yourself?
Yes. Is no big deal once I get my sizing established and buy the parts. I like the square do panels. And want use 40,40,20 alum Seu cable in the mast, then switch to copper between the meter box and CB panel.
Anything else we should know to help you best?
I need to install junction boxes in the attic to extend the distribution lines. NEC says that is fine. I'm told my meter is about 4 inches too high off the ground. Can I add a coupling to the 2 inches pipe mast above where the new meter box will be installed? I could also ask the inspector if the meter can be like 76 inches above grade. It has been like that for quite a while already. I think code is 4 to 6 above grade.
Hello and welcome to Just Answer. My name is I will be happy to assist you with your electrical question. Please be patient as it takes time to type and provide links. Also note that the website may be sending you a telephone offer. The offer is not originating from me. 1. A 200 amp service requires either 20 AWG copper or 40 aluminum service entrance conductors from the weather head to the meter socket and then to the main disconnect. 2. The neutral conductor needs to be insulated. 3. The ground wire can be bare 4 AWG copper. 4. SC cable is normally not installed within a raceway unless it needs to be protected. Individual conductors running in the raceway will make the wire pull much easier. 5. A threaded coupling can be added to the raceway. 6. You need to confirm with the local electrical utility for the required meter can height. The utility has the final say-so on the meter height and not a local inspector. 7. Since upgrading to a 200 amp service, the exterior meter socket also needs to be rated for 200 amps. 1. Underground service entrance cable is not allowed for above-grade installations except where it emerges from below grade to a meter socket or a cabinet. Uses installed as direct burial and not installed in a riser mast.
Between the meter panel and CB panel, I'm going to run 2 stranded copper conductors and a neutral. You are saying the neutral needs to be insulated, okay? How big does it need to be? No ground is required there. What size PVC do I need to use? The minimum. There is nothing underground. The neutral conductor size can be smaller on service entry wiring. It is pretty straightforward. I do not want to pay any more, Kevin. Can you answer my question? It's NEC code.
1. Yes, the neutral needs to be insulated. The neutral conductor can be the same size .E.20 AWG copper or can be reduced by one size to 10 AWG copper if it can support the calculated load. 2. You mentioned use cable. I assume you are referring to underground service entrance cable. Thus the reason I mentioned it. 3. You will need to confirm with the local electrical inspector if PVC conduit is allowed. Most local codes will require a minimum of 2-inch diameter rigid metal conduit for the riser mast. The phone call offer is originating from the website and not from me. I did not send you a phone call offer.
The ground wire for the CB panel needs to be 4 fine, but that is not my question.
1. What other questions do you have?
I mentioned SAU cable. For NEC compliance, you have to use this cable to the first disconnect. It's 3 conductor, no ground.
1. SE cable is sold in 2 different versions. E. Regular SE cable and use cable. Article 338.12 within the 2017 NEC. 2. Use cable is not permitted for above ground installations per 338.12b3. SE cable is allowed along with individual conductors inside a conduit.
It's 2 inches PVC for the run between the CB panel and the meter box. Is that the minimum size I can use? And it will be 2 runs of stranded copper and 1 run of 10 stranded insulate copper neutral. Will this fit into a smaller size than 2 inches PVC? I need to install 2 PVC pounds back to go between these 2 panels.
1. Once again, you need to confirm with the local electrical inspector if PVC conduit is allowed. Keep in mind that local codes take precedence above the NEC. Local codes may or may not allow PVC. The NEC allows it though. 2-inch diameter conduit is the most common size for a 200 amp service.
Okay, the meter panel is outside the house, the CB panel inside. Do I have run whatever conduit is required the full distance? Or once I enter the wall from the meter box I can stop using the conduit?
1. Your choice on that. SE cable can be installed from the meter socket to the main panel or you can use conduit. The minimal size conduit for the back-to-back connections will either be 1.5-inch diameter. If any offsets or bends on the back-to-back, then I recommend to upsize to 2-inch diameter. If no bends, then 1.5-inch conduit meets code as it will result in a 36% fill ratio, which is code compliant. 1. The 1.5-inch diameter is for installing 3 individual conductors. If installing SE cable and conduit, then 2-inch diameter is required.
Can I use 1.5-inch conduit with 2 pounds back-to-back? I think there is an allowable fill reduction for 2 pounds back-to-back. Not sure though.
1. Yes, but the angle pull will be tight. Anytime using pounds, I recommend to increase the conduit to the next higher size. Just makes the angle pull much easier. 1. The pounds need to have the inch 3 capacity labeled on the conduit body. Similar to a conduit fill ratio, but on a conduit body, they call it conductor fill volume.
Okay, but it's a 2x4 wall and there is not much room for them. Can I go out the back of a square DQO panel or does it have to be the top or bottom? It's only 3 wire length between these 2 panels, so it's not much of a pull if it's to code.
Yes, I understand that. Yes, you can enter/exit the service conductors at either the top or bottom or back of the panel. Both meet code, but the top or back side entry/exit is the most common.
If I can go out the back, I can get rid of 1 pound. Is there a minimum height a CB panel has to be above the floor? I think the max is 67 inches. A QO130M 200 PC, I can exit the back, cool. I cannot tell from the website. What about the minimum height of a CB panel?
1. Yes, if you can eliminate 1 pound, that is certainly code compliant. 2. There is no minimal height. Yes, you are correct. The maximum height from the main breaker disco is 6 foot 7 inches above the floor. I normally install my panels around 6 foot above the floor for the main breaker.
Okay, thanks. I think I need to do some sketches now. Can the CB panel and meter box and mast be in one vertical line? That is the way it is now, and I'm trying to upgrade it in the same fashion. Can I use number 1 stranded copper instead of 10? It will bend easier.
1. Yes, all in one vertical fashion is the most common installation. Looks neater that way too. 2. The neutral can only be reduced by 1 size. 10 AWG copper is the smallest allowed. 1 AWG copper will not meet code. I need to make a run to the store. I will be back in about 1 hour or so. Let me know if any other questions. Thanks. Kevin.
Okay, hope it's for beer.
Lol. Unfortunately was not for beer. Had to make a Home Depot run. If you have any additional questions, just let me know and I'll be glad to answer them for you. Otherwise, don't forget to rate me before you log off. Thanks. Kevin.
If you have a home improvement or appliance question and want to chat with an expert now, visit JustAnswer.com/YTHI.